Dark Crisis so far certainly has its problems, but there's also a lot I like too. Also, I didn't hate Jon Kent this issue. What's happening to me? I am really curious in what you guys think about Dark Crisis so far, because I've seen a lot of negative reviews online. I've seen a lot of positive reviews online. A lot of the negative reviews online are claiming it is quote unquote woke or quote unquote pushing an agenda, which I say, stop being a crybaby and get over the fact that not everyone's a straight white male. But there's also some valid negatives online too. That is that Dark Crisis doesn't seem to really have a direction, which I do agree with. Dark Crisis doesn't really have a direction. It is going in multiple different ways, from Justice League dying to a new crisis coming to a random disappearance of other characters in the constant aid of saying, oh, this person's in hiding, which happens a lot in this series, where somebody just randomly isn't there, and the explanation is, oh, they're in hiding, which, yeah, I guess it makes sense, but how many people are in hiding? Because at this point, we have at least, I think, 10 separate characters who have been referred to as being, quote-unquote, in hiding. But there's also a lot of positives I've seen online, which I also think are valid and I agree with, such as letting characters who usually aren't used as much these days shine, like Dr. Light, which I'm really excited for because I really like Dr. Light. Well, Kimiyohoshi Dr. Light, not Arthur Light Dr. Light. I want to make that clear. Kimiyohoshi I like. Arthur Light, no, I don't like him. If you don't understand why I don't like him, go read Identity Crisis. You'll understand why I don't like him. Kimiyohoshi, I think, is a great example of characters who have been kind of left in the dark since, well, New 52. And even before that, Dr. Light, Kimiyohoshi Dr. Light, wasn't really, I would say, used as much as she should have before New 52. She was used a lot in the 80s and 90s, but after that, she kind of just faded away. Well, there's also a lot of characters like Jackson Hyde and Jaime Reyes and Ted Core and Booster Gold who have been used recently, but are definitely very popular, and I think putting them in the forefront really, well, makes them pop. But there's also certain characters on this team I'm not a big fan of, like Frankenstein, who ironically is missing from this issue. Probably because I've seen a lot of people online kind of asking, why is Frankenstein on the team? Which includes myself. I've been wondering, why is Frankenstein on this team? And now, for some reason, this issue, he's just not. I don't know why. He's just not there anymore. I'm not too sure why he just disappeared. Maybe it's because people didn't like that he was on the team. But it's kind of odd that he kind of vanishes. Although I'm not too sad about that because I didn't really care for Frankenstein on the team. I never really liked Frankenstein anyway. But further ado, we should get into the comic, as I'm currently just rambling about the negatives and pros about this comic series. And we should probably discuss about the summary of it and then talk about more or less what is good from this issue and what is the bad from this issue. Which, trust me, there is a lot of good, but there's also a lot of bad. This starts with narration telling us how people are scared for their lives, not as regular citizens, but superheroes too, after Titan's Tower is destroyed, and Deathstroke's threat to kill anyone who tries to be a hero. Although I'm a little confused because he never made that threat. He said that he would kill anyone who tried to form a new Justice League. He didn't say be a hero outright. So that is kind of contradicting his further statement in issue 2. Because I went to go check. He never said anything like that. He said he would kill any hero who tries to form a new Justice League, which is what he said, and what his threat was. So why is it now saying that he said it as if anyone tried to be a hero outright? I'm a little confused. Maybe I misinterpreted that line. But it came across pretty clear. He meant it as if anyone tries to make a new Justice League, that he would kill them. Also, I don't believe that he could take on Supergirl. I still don't. Anyways, we see quick panels of what different heroes are doing. Sideways, who had a great comic that got cancelled, escaping Prometheus and Count Vertigo. Yara Flor is talking to her fellow Amazons. Batgirl's crying over her school being destroyed, and Huntress getting back in costume, believing in hope, and doesn't give a crap about Deathstroke's threat. Which, yeah, don't get me wrong, you know Deathstroke is very dangerous, but what's he gonna do against, like, the entire superhero community? Does he really think he can go up against Supergirl, Yara Flor, Huntress, Green Arrow, Green Arrow and Black Canary died. But, like, does he really think he can kill all of them? Also, what about characters, like, that can't die? Like Secret and Deadman. they're already ghosts, so how do you kill them? I'm just a little bit confused, because he is shown in the last issue to have a big group of villains. But in this issue, it seemingly he no longer has that many villains on his side, which is a little weird. Because last issue we saw that he had almost every villain. This issue he has only like a small group. Anyways, we cut to Beast Boy's hospital room, who's been put into a coma as Nightwing and Donna Troy stand around his bed depressed over the attack and how much they're hurting over it. Also in the hospital room, we can see that young heroes are chatting, including the fact that Tim, Connor, and Impulse went missing. Which I find really weird, because yes, I know that these are connected from Young Justice, Dark Crisis, and this Dark Crisis crossover, but why doesn't it seem like any of them care that their friends are literally missing and possibly dead? The only person who seems to care is Wonder Girl. Oh, Cassandra Sandsmark Wonder Girl. Donna Troy doesn't care, just Cassandra Sandsmark. I mean, I know why, is because they don't want to cross over the streams like Ghostbusters, but why doesn't it seem like anybody really cares? Anyway, Signal, aka Duke Thomas, mentions how D-list villains are trying to take their move in Gotham, which made me a little bit confused, because why aren't A-list villains doing the same? Like, aren't they trying to take advantage over the fact that the Justice League is gone? I mean, I know Poison Ivy's on a road trip, but what about Joker and Penguin? Like, are they not attempting to do the same? Anyways, we also learn that Damian is still around Black Adam's Justice League team, and apparently is spending almost all his time with them in training. We cut to Black Adam instructing the new League about they're not ready yet to fight the Dark Army. And I found this really weird, because that is not great motivation. We also see that Jon is now back on the team, despite the fact Black Adam is still leading it. They handle lower level villains, or lower level according to Black Adam. The reason why I say that is because Silver Banshee is a part of the villains. And I wouldn't consider her a low level threat. She literally took on Superman solo and Supergirl, and nearly killed Superman in her first appearance. So referring to her as a low level threat is, I would say, a big understatement, Black Adam. I think she could probably take on you. We see that this new Justice League has regrouped at the Hall of Justice, where they're surprised to find Count Vertigo being kept in a headlock by Black Adam. And as much crap I give Jon, I do agree with Jon by telling Black Adam that they went too far, or he went too far. I also disagree when Damian says that Count Vertigo is a loser and a low-level threat, because Count Vertigo has taken on Batman and Green Arrow and Black Canary all at the same time. So how is he a low-level threat? What does Damian consider a big threat? Same thing as Silver Banshee. Silver Banshee nearly killed Superman in her first appearance. So what to them is a big threat? Because apparently whoever can kill Superman, or nearly kill Superman, or nearly beat Batman, to them is a loser. Maybe it's because they didn't succeed, but I don't think a lot of people have, other than Doomsday. Anyways, Black Adam starts to explain that they need to start killing Deathstroke's lackies. And personally, I'm not a big fan of the word of explaining that these villains just work for Deathstroke, and they're kind of just characterized as that. Well, Dr. Light just suggests that they need to get information out of him. Jon tells him to let Count Vertigo go, as Dr. Light explains that they need to take a breather and need to go on their families, and Deathstroke might go after them too. But Black Adam isn't stepping down, but luckily Yara Flora arrives to stop Black Adam from killing Count Vertigo. Yara separates the group from mutiny, afterwards they go on their separate ways. To follow on Dr. Light's suggestion to check up on their families. Only Yara, Damian, and Jon left. Yara offers to help after seeing what direction the world is going, but Damian explains there's no Justice League anymore and that he agrees with Black Adam. Which, I mean, haven't you learned anything from Batman? But I kind of understand why Damian would think that, but at the same time, I feel like he would also think against that. Anyways, Jon himself is very upset that Damian says this. The two get into a little bit of a upset fight, as not necessarily a physical fight, but more of an argument, as Yara Flora practically plays referee. But their entire squabble or anything is interrupted when the Justice Society of America show up, which also makes a slight minor continuity error right here, which is that we see Mr. Terrific as a part of the group in the background, who should be over at Star Labs with Linda Park due to the Flash tie-in comics. So why is Mr. Terrific here? Did he just leave the speedsters to fend for themselves and possibly die? Because it's explicitly said in the Flash tie-in comics, Mr. Terrific needs to be at Star Labs at this moment. So why is he here? I thought that was a little odd, seeing the fact that they made a point to refer to other time comics, but forget the fact that the other ones kind of contradict this comic with Mr. Terrific being here. Maybe this happens after the Flash comic, but that also wouldn't make sense because then why isn't Barry Allen here? Anyways, I'm going too far into this. Other than Mr. Terrific, the team consists of both Wildcats, that being Yolanda and Ted, Jade, Obsidian, Alan Scott, Hawkman, Hawkwoman, Cyclone, Power Girl, Dr. Faith, Hourman, Dr. Midnight, Atom Smasher, and Jakeem Thunder. Also, I'm a little bit confused because Alan Scott refers to them as old-timers, but Jade, Yolanda, Obsidian, Dr. Midnight, this version of Dr. Fate, Cyclone, and Jakeem Thunder are all around the ages of 16 to 30. So why are you referring to them as old-timers? The only one here who's an old-timer is you and Ted. Oh, and I guess Hawkman and Hawkwoman can kind of be considered old-timers, but they're immortals, so I guess you kind of wouldn't. Even Atom Smasher isn't that much of an old-timer. So I didn't really understand that line, but I can understand why they incorporated it, because it was funny, but it just doesn't really make sense seeing who was on the team. If it was him, Jay, the original Wildcat, and the other original members, then yeah, it makes sense, but why are you referring to your kids as old-timers? They're literally, 20. I'm thinking too much into this, aren't I? Probably. I usually do that. Because of Deathstroke, who's arguing with the voice in his head, which is, I believe, is Pariah's darkness, or Pariah himself. I'm pretty sure it's the darkness. When his group of villains, who seemingly are a lot smaller than they used to be, bring in a woman into we don't see at first within the shadows. We then see this is actually his daughter Rose, who's his only family member who isn't in hiding. Like I said, a lot of people are in hiding apparently. Even Respawn is. The two have a banter as Deathstroke explains that he needs to bury the torch that is superheroes. But Rose can tell something's wrong with her dad. While yes, her dad is a villain, he respects the Justice League and the Titans. He would only fight fair. And what he's doing isn't in his character. As in, it's not, it's kind of out of character for him to, outright kill or attempt to kill Beast Boy by having his minions beat him up and then have him shoot him in the head. That's not really Deathstroke's whole, deal. He fights fairly. He uses advantages, but to his expense, usually. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Because I don't think I do, but I understand what Rose means. So her response is to outright kick him into the television screen, which I found hilarious. That is her response. Not to question, what are you doing? But her response is outright attempt to murder him. Anyways, his minions come running in, calling him boss. Now here's something I don't like. Well, I can believe a lot of villains will listen to Deathstroke and respect him. I don't believe the likes of Prometheus would call him boss. It's Prometheus. I think that's a little too far in my opinion. But I could also just be, upset with everything, and you could probably just say that. But then some black slime mist thing shoots out of Deathstroke's mouth, that I think is the darkness. It goes into Prometheus, Phobias, and whoever the third guy is who looks like a janitor's mouths. I don't know what happened to the other guys, but they're all gone apparently now. Or arrested, he killed one of them, so that makes sense. But a lot of characters who he had as followers last issue aren't in this issue. Which is weird to me, because similar thing with the Justice League, Frankenstein's gone, and even Killer Frost and Harley Quinn, although they're there, don't really appear in the Justice League panels. So it kind of feels like they're trying to minimize. That is not a word. Minimize the groups because they probably made them too big. Maybe that's my take on it, but that's what I'm getting. Cut to the Green Lantern Corps in Sector 666. Yes, 666. They're at the core portal that the Black Lantern's leader Necron would use, who they believe is somehow related to the darkness that Pariah is leading. Hal, Joe, and Kyle Rayner fly into the portal, leaving the rest of the Corps outside of it, being told that if their team doesn't come back in 24 hours, to destroy the portal. Personally, I think they should have brought a larger team than just 3 of them, but I'm happy at least Hal didn't go alone, which I think would be very in character for him. No offense to Hal fans, but I feel like a lot of times he does things on his own, which isn't the best approach. So I'm glad he at least brought Joe and Kyle Rayner with him. The three then arrive in a nightmare realm of seeing themselves as zombies. They land in the middle of a wasteland to see Pariah Uton's Hell Jordan about the last time he was in a wasteland like this, which was Coast City when he was under Parallax's control, and explains how a new crisis is coming. While fighting, Hal sees those orbs with the League symbols and jumps at the one that was Jon Stewart's lantern symbol. But Hal discovers something. This isn't just an orb. Each orb is a separate Earth, and this one seems to actually have Jon on it, alive, meaning Justice League isn't dead. I think everybody knew that, but now we get confirmation that yes, they're not actually dead. Instead, Pariah is using them to power this crisis. But then the orb seemingly absorbs Hal into it. He wakes up in a world of just Green Lanterns, well as Ring, which is called Sector Jon Stewart, confirming yes, once again, Jon is not dead. Travels to a swamp where he's talking to someone about how the young heroes aren't doing enough. But, well, yes, Damian and Jon are kids, or young adults, Jon's a hyper age. But Supergirl, Dr. Light, Ted Core, and Booster Gold are all adults. So what are you talking about? The majority of your team is adults. And yes, Jackson Hyde and Jaime Reyes are also kids. But most of the team are adults, which I'm a little bit confused by, because it's very similar to how the JSA is being referred to as old-timers, but most of them on the team aren't old-timers. Anyways, we then see who it is Black Adam is talking to, and it is the Legion of Doom, which consists of Lex Luthor, who's leading it, along with Cheetah, Weather Wizard, Punchline, Scarecrow, Vandal Savage, Gorilla Grodd, Captain Cold, Black Manta, Heatwave, Glowing Glider, Captain Boomerang, and Sinestro. And now that is the end. Now, the ending is interesting. So the Legion of Doom will be going up against Deathstroke's group, which I am very excited for because, honestly, I'm getting a little bit annoyed with Deathstroke in this comic. No offense to Deathstroke fans, because I love Deathstroke too. Just in this comic alone, I feel like he's kind of already treading water and he has burnout. Well, Legion of Doom, in my opinion, are a lot more interesting than the Secret Society. We also have Yara Flor seemingly possibly joining the JSA, which I found really interesting as maybe she could be their Wonder Woman, like how Diana was their Wonder Woman back in the Golden Age. But now Diana's on the Justice League, so they might need a Wonder Woman now, and I think Yara Flor fits the bill. And maybe she could still be called Wonder Woman in this, although I don't know if she will or not. I hope she will, but I can also see it being a situation where they don't want two Wonder Womans in the same universe. But they have very different designs, so I think it won't be too confusing. Well, there's two Aquamen right now, so why couldn't there be two Wonder Womans? Anyways, Jon's issue also wasn't as annoying as he was in previous issues. Well, Black Adam is now the one who's annoying. I guess they're trading back and forth. Also, I felt some of the villains being deemed losers is kind of weird, seeing how Silver Banshee, Count Vertigo, and Prometheus have all been real threats in comics. And not even in stories that were a lot long ago. Like, literally 2 years ago, there are stories about each of these villains as literal threats. So I don't understand why they're being played up as jokes now, which I think is both disrespectful to the villains, but the fans of the villains, such as myself. I'll also say I'm getting tired of Deathstroke, so I'm happy to see Lex Luthor's coming next issue. Don't get me wrong, I love Deathstroke, but similar to Joker recently, I think Deathstroke is dealing with some burnout. Because unlike Lex Luthor, who brings something to those who follow him, and has a very long, heavy history leading villains into battles, and even some heroes at times, Deathstroke so far has only killed one of their own, failed to lead them into attacking the Titans, and is keeping secrets from his team. Which, yes, Lex does keep his secrets, but he's smart about it. You don't have to be Batman to see Deathstroke is very clearly hiding something and lying to his teammates. And he's not discreet about it. He's very upfront in front of his teammates. I'm also surprised to see Punchline is part of Lex's team, and I could honestly read an entire Legion of Doom solo series. So I'm really excited for next issue. Overall, I really like this issue, minus some problems. For example, I wasn't a big fan of Deathstroke or Black Adam. I really enjoy the Yara Flor stuff, and I hope she has a bigger role next issue. Same thing with the JSA. And honestly, I'm very surprised that I did not dislike Jon this issue. I thought the Green Lantern part it was played up on the cover a little too much than it actually was in the issue. As despite the fact they're on the cover, it wasn't as big as it was. It's not as big as you think it is in the actual issue, which I hope changes next issue because I really want to see more of the Sector John Stewart stuff. So yeah, what do you guys think? Do you like it? Do you not like it? Leave all your comments down below, and like always, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.